Hello, Benny. Benny, would you like a tube? I think you like tubes. So today we are grooming Benny, the 3-year-old Persian. I just finished grooming his brother, Phineas. You can check out that video on my main channel, Girl with the Dogs. And now it is Benny's turn. Hello, Benny. Come on. Now, Phineas was purchased from a breeder and Benny was a rescue. They said that you like tubes, so I know that your desire to eat them is overwhelmed right now by being anxious and stressed. There you go. Yeah, let's make friends right at the beginning. Now, neither one of these cats had ever been bathed before. They have been to a professional groomer, but they were only brushed and their sanitary trimmed. I decided to bathe Phineas because he was shedding the most amount of hair that I've ever seen come off of a cat. And I knew that bathing and blowing his coat out with the high velocity dryer would be very beneficial. And he was also very, very calm, which meant that I felt confident that I could complete that without stressing him out really badly. So we did that. He turned out incredible. Now with his brother, however, they told me that his coat is a bit different. When they adopted him, he was matted down to the skin, but since then he has obviously recovered. His hair is not matted. To their knowledge, they told me that Phineas was matted. So I'm assuming, considering Phineas really was not matted, that this cat here is probably not matted at all. But I'm going to check him out. I'm going to see how he does for brushing, for his nail trim, and then I will go from there whether or not I decide to bathe him. You gotta come out, okay? You gonna come out? You don't want me to pet you? Look, there's more tube here. See, over here. 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 There you go, good boy. Now, it is very beneficial to bathe Persian cats, mainly because, especially this type of Persian cat with an extreme face that's smushed in, or it's considered flat. I'm not too sure if this one is considered extreme or flat. But they are unable to properly groom themselves, and Persian cats have long coats. You can see the visible difference between this cat and Phineas. Phineas had a much longer and denser coat, and this guy here does not. So his coat's actually going to be much easier to maintain at home versus the other cat. So this guy here may not need a bath, considering his coat is not nearly as dense. You're gonna let me brush you? So I think the goal here today with this guy is just to make sure that he is brushed out. He does not have any matting. Maybe we shall clip his nails. Come on. You want the tube? Take the tube. Oh. I don't know that we need to subject him to an entire grooming today. Yes, what a good boy. Are you a good boy? Now, I absolutely love Persian cats. I don't necessarily love the flat or the extreme face. I think that brachycephalic breeding is not wonderful. However, the temperaments of these cats are beautiful. They're usually extremely placid, very, very, docile cats. Easy to do most things with, unless your name is Mayonnaise, I guess. But the Persian cat also comes in a doll face, which is more similar to Purdy, the British Longhair. And the doll face, in my personal opinion, is a healthier version of the breed, but everybody has their own opinions. Okay, let's clean your eyeballs. Come here. I know you're used to this. Your eyeballs are a little bit cleaner than your brother's. Maybe you're more considered a flat and not an extreme. I'm not sure. If you are a Persian expert or a breeder, comment below on whether or not his face is considered flat or extreme. That's another thing with the Persians that have the flatter faces, is that they do need to have their eyes cleaned at least once a day because their eyes typically drain. If you get the doll face, they may not drain, like Purdy's eyes don't. Occasionally, every now and then, I clean her eyes, the corner of her eyes, but she doesn't really need it done. We're gonna start with the slicker brush, and then we will move on to the comb. It is pretty obvious to me that these owners take excellent care of their cats. While the other cat was shedding an immense amount of hair, he did not have matting, which means that the owner is brushing at home, because if they weren't, that cat would have certainly been matted. You're so cute. You don't like your head thing? I can switch it and I can put on the cone instead. Here, I'll put the cone on instead. Now, I typically do have a lot of trust in Persians to not be aggressive because they are a more docile breed, but as you guys have seen with Mayonnaise, although Mayonnaise is not a well-bred Persian, and who knows if he's purebred, sometimes they can get feisty, so just out of safety's sake, I am going to use the cone. You're not shedding much at all, not compared to your sibling, that's for sure. Now, people have asked me if I like the EquiGroomer for long-haired cats, which is the de-shedding brush that you guys see me use a lot. I do not like the EquiGroomer on long-haired cats. It works a little bit. It's not going to necessarily damage the coat. I just don't see it as being super effective. I like to use a slicker brush and my butter comb, which I'm going to use in a moment. That's the only thing I really recommend for long-haired cats. For short-haired cats, the EquiGroomer works amazing. I know. He definitely moves a lot more than his sibling, has a little bit more oomph to his personality, so I could see him disliking the bath a lot more than his brother. Now, good Persian breeders will get their cats used to bathing from a very young age. I think they will start around 3 to 4 weeks old, and they will regularly bathe and blow dry them so that they get used to professional grooming, because a good breeder knows that these cats will need grooming the rest of their lives, and getting them used to it at such a young age only sets them up for success and sets the owner up for success, because a cat, or a kitten I should say, that's already used to grooming is going to be a lot easier for an owner to groom than one that isn't. Yes, you're a good boy. You're a very good boy. We can be friends. Yes, we can. He says, "Get this thing off my head. I am not a mean cat." But you never know, sir. You never know. I don't know you. I just met you. Your brother, I can 100% say with certainty, is a very good cat. But you, I don't know you yet. We just met. I would say if you are looking for a laid-back cat that is very easygoing, the Persian is great, but just keep in mind that they are very high maintenance, require a ton of brushing, and if you are not willing to do that, please don't get a Persian. Can I shave your butt? May I shave your butt? Now, some of you might ask, you know, I've bathed other cats on this channel, why am I not going to bathe him? So I am just doing an assessment of him right now. So I'm looking at his coat, I'm looking to see if he's dirty, I'm looking to see if he's blowing coat, I'm looking to see if he's got dandruff that needs to be cared for, and then I'm going to assess whether or not he needs a bath. He's not greasy, he does not have dandruff, he does not have a compacted undercoat, I don't really see the necessity of it, I don't think he's dirty, so I'm not going to put him through something that he's never had before, because that could cause him a lot of stress. His brother, on the other hand, had dandruff, had a ton of compacted coat, and he was very calm. So I knew that he was a good candidate for bathing, and bathing really, really, really helped his coat. You have a really easy coat for a Persian. And you're 3, which means it's fully developed. He's not really shedding much right now either. Okay, I have to clip your nails. Can we do that together? He's like, "Give me my tube back, woman." Can we? Can we do this? Oh my God, I frickin' love you. You are so sweet. You're a sweet boy. Let me see these nails together. Now, One thing I do want to talk about that I don't think I've ever mentioned on this channel before is nail caps. A lot of people who obviously don't want to declaw their cat because it's inhumane get nail caps, and I have some firsthand experience with it because when I first got Purdy, I decided to use them. I just kind of wanted knowledge on them to figure out, you know, are they good? Do they cause any issues or anything like that? Because there's a lot of controversy about nail caps online. And here is my honest review. Come here, sir. So I used nail caps when I first got her as a kitten. They were very easy to apply. She was very, you know, tolerant of it, which obviously made it a lot easier to apply. They worked really well. She was still able to scratch things like she normally would like to without it causing damage to obviously my furniture. And it was great in the beginning stages of teaching her what she can and cannot scratch. Because when she did scratch something that I didn't want her to scratch, there was no damage on it, and then I was able to tell her not to do it. So eventually I stopped putting the nail caps on her after a few months, and then at that point she already knew what she was allowed and not allowed to scratch. So none of my stuff really got damaged, which was nice, but I did notice something about the nail caps. So as they grow out, the cap is going to have a back behind it, right? So behind it is going to be some nail and then nail cap. What I found was when she did dig her nails into some things, that her nails would actually get stuck because it would get stuck behind the nail cap, if that makes sense. I don't really know how else to explain it. And then I would actually have to cut the nail cap off in order to free her. She was not able to free herself. I didn't like that, so I stopped using them. So that's just some information. It depends on your cat, I guess. What I did notice with Purdy, and this is, I think, more common with the British cats, but not all British cats, is that she just really doesn't scratch much. So she never really affected my furniture, and so therefore I didn't think that she needed the nail caps long term. Now that doesn't mean that nail caps are bad. It just means if you do want to use them, you're going to have to stay on top of them and make sure that if they grow out, you try to remove them and apply new ones, because otherwise your cat could get their nails stuck in things that they wouldn't normally get their nails stuck in because of the cap. So that's all I noticed about those. I don't think there's really anything else I need to do with you, buddy. You are in great shape. So there's no matting under here, right? Nope, no matting at all. So he was just here for a quick brush, a paw shave, a sanitary shave, and a nail clipping, and an eye wipe, and he's good. I think the appointment today was mostly for the brother because he really needed grooming, and this one was just tag along and get some work done, basically. Okay, well, maybe we shall just give you lots of tube. And you can just have fun here. You just want to be a fun little client for today? For more information on the Persian cat, please refer to his brother's video. I will have that linked below for you. It's again on my main channel, Girl with the Dogs. Or if you're watching this on Facebook, then just scroll down and I'm sure that video will be there. If you guys liked this video and you want to see more complimentary grooms just like Benny, don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button and share with all of your friends. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again in a few days. He got scared of the wind and now he won't finish his tube. You don't want to go in your house. You like it here? I know I'm a tube dispenser, but thank you. Please come again. You gotta put your tail in there though. Put your tail in. There you go.